is I'll be recording it so that if anyone misses out in the class, just actually get it back. I'll send it across the video across to us in the group chat. All right. So today, I said earlier, we'll be looking at introduction to cryptocurrency. I call it Crypto 101. I need to share my screen now, and we'll look at it briefly. I know we have Champions League today, and most of us I know. Yes, the person asking in the comment section whether this will be recorded. Yes, I'm actually recording it now for people someone that is not here, so that the person can actually get access to it afterwards. Thank you for asking. So currently, I'm going to be sharing my screen so that we can start immediately. So that if you can finish up before 9, those of us that want to watch Champions League can actually go back and maybe witness the second half, right? So I'll try to be as snappy as possible because it's not something I'm not going into deep into anything. I'll rush it so that we can actually go back to our respective duties. We go dive in deep from subsequent classes. So I'll be sharing my screen now. And so if you can see my screen, please say something in the comment section. If you can see my screen, say something on the chat, please. Hello, you're saying it, right? Thank you. So today, as I said, we'll be looking at the introduction to cryptocurrency, and this is just a form of a welcome to Easy Crypto Lifestyle. The reason behind this name is because I actually like my life easy, so I try to I don't like anything difficult, right? So I try to make call my group easy, so that because it brings out easy life. Because crypto is a place that you actually don't need so much stress. It's just a place you get easy things, right? So that's why I named it easy. So today we'll be looking at introduction to cryptocurrency. I call it Crypto 101. So we're going to just look briefly into it. Then subsequent class, we dive in deeper to see other things that we need to know about cryptocurrencies and how to make money, and we go deep into them. So today we'll be looking at what BTC is, which I believe most of us know. Well, a little history about BTC. We also look at what blockchain is, what relationship between BTC, cash, as fiat currency, and stocks. We also look at what IPO, ICO, IDO, and how it relates to crypto. We look at ways to make money in crypto. I know this part is the place everybody's attention will be on, ways to make money on cryptocurrency. And we also look at how to make, I don't think I'll be able to cover this, how to make a good project, because it's a very, very voluminous topic on its own. How to arrive at the price of the coin, those ones. This last two will be taught in subsequent class. That will be the next class tomorrow. So we just start it immediately. Please, I would like this class to be very interactive. So when I say something and ask you to type something, please do. Or you want to say something, you can actually raise your hand up or mute you so I can say something, right? So currently, I want it to be interactive. I don't want it to be like, oh, I'm talking to myself. I want it to be something that we are having a conversation. So I want us to flow along. That is the reason why I try to make the class a small number, so that it will be interactive and everybody will get to learn. So what is BTC? I know that everybody here knows what BTC is. So, but before I define it in my own terms, I'm going to ask anybody in the audience to tell us what BTC is. Please, if you want to talk, raise up your hand and I'll mention your name. Please, I will unmute you. Please, somebody has to talk. If not, this class will continue. But I'm very, very certain that everybody here knows what BTC is. So somebody must talk. So if you want to say something, please raise your hands up and I will unmute you. Please. I'm waiting. So who is saying something? I know many of you that have been into this crypto industry for years now. So if you don't say anything, I will meet you. If I'm going to meet some person and ask you, and you have to talk. I'm going to meet somebody now. CJ, tell us what you understand or you know about BTC. CJ, can you hear
Hello.
me? Yeah, please tell us what you know about BTC.
About BTC. BTC is Bitcoin.
Yes, yes, we know that. So tell us what you understand, how you feel. What if somebody asks you what is BTC? What will you tell the person?
Well, I'll start by telling the person that BTC is a digital currency.
Yeah.
Yes, and well, personally, I won't go ahead to start telling the person the history of BTC of the and all that because I don't think it's really that necessary. But then I'll tell the person the necessary things that the person needs to know, which is that Bitcoin is the future of modern money.
All right.
I don't know if you get me. Like,
Now,
it's the future of digital money.
yeah.
That is, currently there are many means of moving money online and all that, but then Bitcoin is kind of the best and the most trusted currently because it's very easy to send. Anybody can have a wallet, and then thirdly, you don't actually need to go by any government policy or whatever before you can send Bitcoin to someone.
Yeah.
So personally,
Oh, thank you very much. I'm getting you.
no problem. So
do you still have more to say?
Yeah, anyway.
You have more to say?
Yeah, anyway, no problem. Continue the class.
Round up, so we can continue.
Okay. So I would say that Bitcoin is well, it's kind of the best platform of which someone can transfer money or perform transactions online. And then that is very reliable and will make a very huge impact in the world time to come.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask the last person. I'm going to meet the last person. And the last person is going to tell us what you feel about BTC. So if I meet you, you must talk. Get to that, right? So who am I going to meet now? All right. Collins, up next. Tell us what you know about BTC, and then we'll continue from there. Don't worry, your questions are coming, all of you. You just answer one thing. If I ask you now, that means you have a strict further questions, or maybe you can still be asked. Collins, please tell us what you understand by BTC. Collins, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Yeah. BTC, to be very quick, is the first cryptocurrency, and the main reason why BTC was created was to, like, for buying and selling. Like, there is just like it's a digital currency used for buying and selling. So that's just it.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was very brief and precise. Thank you very much. So we'll continue with the class. Thank you. Thank you, Collins, for that brief and precise definition. So the both of them actually keep justice in explaining what BTC is. Everybody you ask what BTC is, the person definitely tell you the first thing is that BTC is Bitcoin, and that is true. But they don't go detailed the way these guys actually did now. So I'm going to give you a concise definition of BTC and what it stands for. And there's so many definitions of BTC out there. If you browse, you see a lot of definitions. But I chose this particular definition of BTC because it's more a comparison. It compares BTC as a whole and it explains the whole features about BTC. So here I have it that BTC is the first decentralized digital currency which uses encryption techniques to secure and verify transactions. This might seem very, 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 very ambiguous and hard, but it's very simple. And underline those terms and also change the color because of how important they are. The first is, as just like this person said, CJ said that it's not controlled by any government or something. That is what we call decentralized. Bitcoin is decentralized in the sense that it is not governed by any bank, by any government, by any central or any authority. It is controlled based on a peer-to-peer network. It is built on a peer-to-peer network. So the people that control BTC is you and me. As far as you have downloaded a crypto wallet before, you are in charge. You are in charge of the BTC. You have access to the ledger, the public ledger, right? So, and also the part that is also a digital currency, meaning that it does not exist like a fiat currency that we have, cannot be touched. It is invisible. It is visible to the in the internet, but it cannot be felt. Like you cannot hold it like gold. You cannot hold it like a naira. You cannot hold it like dollar. It is digital. It can only exist in a digital world. It can never come out of there. And it uses encryption techniques to secure and verify transactions. This particular part, encryption techniques is actually an explanation to a particular word, which is cryptograph. Cryptograph, it uses cryptograph to secure and verify transactions. And this encryption techniques is, we know what encryption is, like a mixture of things, like our password is encrypted. Sometimes it's encrypted, needs to be broken. You have access you have to have a key to be able to have access to the particular encryption, right? So it uses this secured cryptograph to verify transactions. So, and from what I just said now, cryptograph is from cryptograph that the word cryptocurrency came into play. And that's cryptograph. Encryption can actually tell you that every crypto transactions are secured. One of the reasons why crypto have gone this far is because of the security, which was brought to play because of the cryptograph, which is the cryptographic nature of the blockchain and also the Bitcoin at large. I don't know whether you guys understand me. I'm speaking high English, but I think I was able to bring it down to a level where all of us can understand. So the major things you have to understand about BTC is that it is decentralized. It is not governed by any central authority. It is not controlled by anybody. It is totally controlled by P2P network. It is you and me. Everybody that is transacted with Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency, any altcoin is in charge of BTC. Nobody particularly is in charge of BTC. I can actually link this to the NSAS protest where the leaders, like Nigerian leaders, were looking for a particular leader, and people were telling them that nobody is actually a leader, that all of us are in charge. That is decentralized government. Nobody is actually in power. So nobody can actually make rules. Can tell everybody, go home now, we are done with this protest or something. So that is how cryptocurrency and that's how Bitcoin is. So I also went further to explain it here, but everything I've said here is what I just explained there. It's work on the secure cryptographic functions. That is how it works. So now we're going to look at brief history about BTC. Now, this is no longer a news to everybody. Everybody has known what BTC is and the history about BTC. I'm just going to refresh your knowledge about it. I'll be very brief and I will explain it shortly, then we'll continue with other things we have. So brief history about BTC. BTC started off with an email listing or emailing list that was sent by a man or a woman or a group. Nobody actually knows who he is, whether he's a girl or a woman, a man, a young boy, or a group of people. And they go by the name Satoshi Nakamoto. So Satoshi Nakamoto released an email to several persons, like guys like both SMS. So said a lot of people in 2008, although Bitcoin came to exist in 2009, but in 2008 is when he sent this email to them. And the email contained what we call white paper. And white paper contains what you plan on doing. Like for every company has a white paper. And every crypto project has a white paper. And this is one of the things you have to read to be able to know that a coin is good for a long term or a short term. Reading the white paper to know the white paper contains the total information about the coin, the CEO of the coin, you know about him. You also know the white paper also tell you the plans they have for the project, their roadmap, what they plan to do in the next 5 years, 2 years to come, etc. What they plan to do, their plan in the crypto space, what they are planning on fulfilling, the gap they're planning to fill, or something like that. So he released the white paper through email, and he was explaining to people what he actually wanted. Now you have to say this brings to light that intent of Satoshi was not to produce a coin or a asset. His intent was to produce a currency which we have as a means of exchange. Just like Collins rightly said, Collins said it is used for means of buying and selling. So his initial intent was to produce a currency that was free from inflation and deflation caused by central bodies like the government and central banks, like central banks and governments. Most times, what we suffer in our country, Nigeria, is inflation. The value of Nigeria continues to be the value. More, like if Nigeria needs money now, they can just go and print more money. There is no fixed total supply of Naira. Naira can be printed on a yearly or weekly or anyhow the government, anytime the government or the government central bank decides to. So that particular act actually brings about inflation and deflation. So this particular Satoshi's initial plan was to create a coin, a currency that was free from inflation and deflation and help people as a means of exchange. So his point was not actually to produce an asset like a commodity or an asset like gold. He didn't want. It was not. His initial intent was not to produce something that can actually store for a long term, like we do now, or do for a long term or a short term, and he appreciating value. Although there are some things that he actually programmed into BTC blockchain that actually gave it this intrinsic value or the ability for it to be hodled and appreciate in price. And those things are the fixed total supply and also the Bitcoin halving. This particular two events in cryptocurrency is what made it to have this ability to appreciate in value over a long term, right? So this was his initial intent. Although basically the Bitcoin we have now is not what Satoshi actually planned it to be. There are a lot of innovations that have been taking place in this Bitcoin. Bitcoin, the Bitcoin we have now, there's a lot of innovation that have been taking place in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole. Before now, there was not like NFT. Before now, there was not like a Binance Smart Chain. Before now, the only coin that we knew, only blockchain we knew was BTC and Ethereum blockchain. And now we have so many blockchains there. We have Solanium, we have Binance Smart Chain, we have so many of them, Secret Smart Chain, and so many of them. And this was not his actually initial intent. Initial intent was to use a digital currency that we use for means of exchange. But recent innovations in the crypto space have actually led it to this point that we are in now. The latest update that was innovation that actually came to BTC was early last 2 months or so. Yeah, the latest innovation on BTC blockchain was normally it was the innovation was actually built into Ethereum, but was not built into Bitcoin blockchain. But of recent it was actually added, and that innovation was previously if you send a coin to someone and you use a low gas fee, it actually takes a longer time for it to arrive. But with this innovation, you can actually send a coin, maybe a $1,000 worth of a coin, and you pay $3 as a gas fee. With that gas fee, it's going to take usually on a long time for it to be added to the next block that's going to be sent. But because it's taking longer time, you can actually send another BTC to that same wallet, right? With a higher gas fee. Let's for instance, if you sent 1,000 before, you have to send that $50 with like $20 charge or gas fee. That's $50 that you have sent to help propel that first one I have sent, which is hanging on the air. You don't understand how frustrating this is until they send you BTC and it's taking days to come. There's a time that when I tried my exchanging, that was how many years ago? Like I think for last 2 years, there is a guy that sent me BTC and it was in a haste that he wanted money. So I had to like, okay, use my own money and pay him, right? Before, when the coin came in eventually, it took like a day plus for the coin to come, but the guys actually used a low priority in sending the coin. When it got there, the Bitcoin price actually crashed. That's the point. So I lost money So let me admit this guy. I think the last person just joined now. Do welcome. So I actually lost money from the whole transaction because I actually lost money from the Bitcoin crash that happened that time. So this innovation was actually very, very helpful in the block and in Bitcoin and blockchain. So let's stop there for the history of BTC. I think I actually digressed. Let's look at another aspect. Let's look at what blockchain is. This is another aspect that is, I will try not to go so complex, so detailed into this blockchain, because it's actually very complex, because most of the people that talk about BTC are programmers and blockchain. Now, it's something I have to clear. Now, most people think that it was Satoshi that built blockchain. No, that is very, very wrong. In fact, blockchain was already existing before Bitcoin, right? So blockchain can be compared to internet. For instance, internet was what Elon Musk and Jeff and what's his name again? The Gates got into at the early stage, and what made them billionaires now. So most persons, when internet came out newly, some persons actually ignored it. So we're not talking about it. People felt like internet was fraud or something like that. But Amazon actually bought into it very early, and the Amazon CEO Jeff is the richest man in the whole world, as if he's currently staying there. And Jeff too, and Microsoft and the Gates, all of them bought into this very early. The same thing as applies to the blockchain technology. Blockchain was there, but it was dormant. Nobody actually used it. Nobody felt like it was important or it was relevant until Satoshi Nakamoto actually came across it and built the first cryptocurrency into it, right? So it was Bitcoin. The blockchain was actually already in existence before then. Now, the question is, among all technologies, why didn't Satoshi go and build it into internet? Why do you have to choose blockchain instead? Now, some definition here is actually specific to cryptocurrency. The definition of blockchain I gave here was a little more redirected towards BTC, although it is not generally, it can actually be referred to that section, because BTC blockchain is only used for BTC. There are also several applications of blockchain. For instance, blockchain can actually be used for voting. Yes, because in blockchain, there is something else to understand about blockchain. I will explain that subsequently. Let us list some of the applications that blockchain can actually be used for, apart from being used for cryptocurrencies. It can actually be used for cyber security. It can be used for voting. It can be used for so many other things, so many applications that BTC has. It can be used for banking. Banking can actually use it if they want to make their ledger public. Then academics too can actually use it to secure and keep documents and what's it called again? And then documents generally. And also, for instance, the latest application that was built into blockchain that was not have any relationship with cryptocurrency. It was one which country, what's the particular country that built it? But land decrees and laws and landowners there is a particular blockchain that actually created where all the whole transaction have actually taken place in real estate was built into it. So there's many other applications other than just BTC being built into blockchain. So from the name blockchain, it actually defines the whole thing. It means that data and information are stored in blocks. And now the chain that is attached to it, when you see chains are always, they have units. And those units the first unit must have a relationship with the second unit, and also a relationship with the third unit, and like that. If you split them one after the other, it's no longer a chain, right? So in blockchain, those informations or data or transactions are secured, are all in chains. And this first chain, which is the first block, must always have a relationship with the second block. So they are in chains, right? The first block must always have a second relationship with the second block. And this happens in, for instance, let me use a term which may not be understandable, but I just feel you should know it. Like each block has what we call a hash. Now, that hash that a block has, the next block is going to form, like let me just the hash, the next block is going to form into existence, must have a hash rate which is similitude with the first block that was formed. So if I say Obi is a boy on this particular block now, the second block, we have a relationship with what Obi is a boy. So it continues to build on that particular relationship. So if I should come in between 5 blocks and remove one, it's not possible for this Obi is a boy. Maybe I come and maybe there is 3 blocks. And let's for instance, Obi is a boy, Ada is a girl, Emeka is a man. Is this shape? If I remove Ada is a girl from in between, right? There's no possibility for me to join Emeka is a man and Obi is a boy together, because the hash rate that Emeka is a man has cannot be shared with the hash rate. The hash rate that Emeka has, Emeka is a man, is not what Obi is a boy has. So they can never join together. And in that way, we call it invalid. The transaction is invalid. And when that happens, it can never be a valid transaction in cryptocurrency. That is how blockchain. I'm not trying to explain it in a layman understanding, right? So each block, like each information is saved at a block, and each block has a unique code or number attached to it, which is called the hash. And those hash of the next block also have that hash, but a similitude hash. So it's going to continue to build like that in blocks and in blocks. And again, why we see that Bitcoin is, and it can also be used for voting, as I said earlier, I will explain, is that it can never be altered. It's immutable. As I said, it's an immutable ledger. Like for instance, I say Ada is a boy, and I say, okay, Obi is a boy. And I now say, no, I made a mistake. I don't want Obi to be a boy to be on this block again. And I'll come and change that block. I write Obi, Ada is a girl, or Ada is a boy. Now, instead of that change, because it's not going to be valid, it's not be valid. And instead of it changing that particular thing I've written, Ada Obi is a boy, you can never change it, so that it will say that Ada is a girl in another block instead of affecting that previous block. So it makes it impossible for somebody to double vote, because once you have voted before and you try to vote again, the block after the transaction, it tries to verify the transaction. You find out it will render that transaction invalid. That means that your vote, you have casted a vote before, it is rendered invalid. So that is why it could actually be used in for voting and etc. Please, I think I am talking too much. Please, if you understand what I'm saying, you can actually just say something in the comment section or the question section, so that I know I'm actually I can actually you guys are following me. Please, can you say something if you're following me? I don't know what I'm talking to myself. That is why. Hello, say something in the comment section, please. Hello. Can you guys say something on the comment section, please? And if you're not following, you can actually tell me I'm not following, so I can actually reverse what I said. Please, I can see what you said. You're lost at the hashtag, you know, hash rate. Okay, right. All right, we are following. Matt, I can hear you. I can see you. Wait again, please. Say something. I will continue, so I don't, as if I'm talking to myself. Please, I know I have people here. Say something. All right, let's say to be that. Just confusing me. All right, I see you. All right, thank you. More, please. And if you say something, if you're here, if you're following, you say you're following. All right, thank you, Tony. You said you're following. All right. I see other people here. Colin, say something. Colin, say something. All right. Colin's still in the class. I cannot. Okay, there's no wait for him. All right, so they said Obi and Ada is confusing him. So I'll try to go back so that we can actually carry everybody along. All right, I think I lost it here. All right, So you guys can see my screen, right? So the explanation I was just giving was just, and it was just an analogy of a making. So Ada and OP does not have any relationship with blockchain, right? I'm just giving you those Ada and OP I'm using is what we call Bitcoin transactions, right? Bitcoin transactions are what undergoes this procedure I'm actually trying to explain. And I actually digress a lot because I actually went to talking about BTC and how it works again. So from what I said initially, the hashing, so this person talking about hash rate hashtag or something like so use a hashtag. What I was saying is that once a block is actually built already, a block is completed. That block is completed. The next block is going to come. How will I use as an example to explain this? Like the next block is going to come. We have let's say a die. You're connecting dies into this thing. Like if A was written on this on die A, like die A, the next die that to come, we have let's say A star on it, then B will be on it, right? Then the next block is going to come to this C, but it will not have B attached to it, then a star on it, which is linking it that okay, this block was built on the pre-existing one. Just like we define cells, those of you that actually did science, we should have cell come from pre-existing cells, right? So block must always come from pre-existing blocks. There's no way the block can magically appear. Any block that doesn't come from a pre-existing block will be rendered invalid, right? Rendered invalid. Now, this thing I said about being invalid doesn't mean that this thing will not be saved on that blockchain or to be or saved on the blockchain, but it's invalid, meaning it doesn't have any state in that particular blockchain or that coin that is in. For instance, now, if this one might be a bit complex, but I'll still say maybe those that can actually have the ability to assimilate it to be able to understand it. Now, Bitcoin Cash is built into Bitcoin blockchain, right? Now, the way it was built like an error. Let me use that word, error. Like, okay, they had a new innovation that they wanted to add into Bitcoin. Now, those new innovations were against what Bitcoin was actually built. So there was no consensus of agreement between the blockchain of BTC, the BTC coin, and that of blockchain, that of Bitcoin Cash. So instead of that Bitcoin Cash replacing Bitcoin, it created another block on its own, which is now called the Bitcoin Cash. Now, that is the reason why Bitcoin wallet address, if I should send Bitcoin Cash to a Bitcoin wallet address, the transaction will go through. It will be sent, but it's going to come in as Bitcoin Cash, right? Because all of them are in the same chain. Same apply to all blockchains like Binance Smart Chain. If I should send Dogecoin to Shiba Inu wallet address, it's going to be delivered. Why? Because they are on that. If I should send BNB Smart Chain to a Doge address, it should be delivered immediately. Why? Because they are all in the same blockchain, right? And it's built on the same blockchain. So the transactions are going to, like, for instance, if it was an Ethereum blockchain, it's going to, all of them, I can actually verify those transactions in Etherscan. Now, I think I'm actually going much deeper than I think I should, but I just wanted to explain this for those that actually have the ability to comprehend it, to understand what actually happened on the blockchain. It's a very interesting something, though, although it's quite a lot of coding and so many other things is involved, right? So I'm not going to go much deeper than that. I was going to read out what we have here. It's a shared ledger. And again, why the reason again that Satoshi chose blockchain is the fact that it is public. Like when you say that the Bitcoin is a public ledger, we mean in banks bank is a private ledger, because if I want to know my transaction history, I have to go to the bank and tell them, okay, I want my transaction history. I want to see how money has been coming and leaving my account. I cannot even go and tell him I want to know how money has entering and going out of the various wallet accounts. It's not possible. They've never given that information. But in cryptocurrency, everybody has access to the ledger. I can know the amount of money that is inside Elon Musk's wallet. if I know his wallet address, because I can just go to Bitcoin Explorer and I'll see all transactions that is ongoing. The one that took place a second ago, the one that took place 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I can actually see them, download them, and I will see everything. It's a public ledger. It made it transparent, so it can never be corrupt. There is no corruption. When something is public, everybody is seeing it. Nobody can actually say that this is not this. Why? Because it's what it is. It is what it is, right? So it is that open. That's one of the major reasons, again, that Satoshi had to build Bitcoin into blockchain, because it's very transparent, it's visible, everybody's seeing it, everybody's doing it, and it's very secure. This particular thing I explained about the blocks and how it's being built and how it's verified is what makes it very secure. Very secure. It's immutable. You can never make a change on what is already existing. When you make a change, you put another block, and that block will end up being invalid. There's so many invalid blocks, but the only blocks that is rendered valid are the transactions that are verified, that works in line with other things. When all the blocks agrees, the previous block agrees, that is only when a new blocks can be added. That is a bit much, but I'll still leave it at that. Also, we can perform user transactions without involving any third party. This is another reason why Satoshi built it into blockchain. I explained how blockchain works with what I just said previously, right? So this is one of the reasons why Satoshi chose blockchain over internet or any other technology to build his BTC in. And as I said earlier about BTC, I'll talk about Bitcoin mining when we get to some ways we can actually make money from BTC. Let's not waste much time here and progress. So please, before I continue, still, I don't know whether I created any confusion on anybody. If I created confusion, if you are confused, please, you can actually say something. Are you confused? Anyone confused, please? Please say something. Please say something. Please say something. So we can know where we are progressing or we're speaking English. Right? And this class is not supposed to take more than an hour. So we try to end within that space. Please, anybody? Yeah, okay. CJ, thank you. Right on. Thank you. Go again, please. All right. Martha, thank you. Charles, thank you. All right, let's continue then. All right, let's continue. So I'm going to, okay, see have some persons saying something. All right, continue, bro. All right, thank you. Right on, thank you. Let's continue. Where we start. All right, so we have to look at the relationship between Bitcoin, cash, and stocks, right? Now, I've actually said this initially. In terms of, when we talk about relationship, we also talk about the things that are similar, right? And we also talk about the differences between them, similarities and differences between them. Now, first of all, we have to look at BTC and cash. The major relationship between them is that they are all means of exchange, right? They are means in which people can buy and sell things. So this is a major relationship between the two of them. Hope you're getting it clearly. Now, what are the differences between them? First difference is cash, that is fiat currency, USDT, Japanese yen, naira, pounds, shilling, etc. All of them. The reason, one of the major differences between them is the fact that cash is prone to inflation and deflation. BTC or any cryptocurrency is not prone to that. There is no way there could be inflation because we have a fixed amount of BTC. We have only 21 million BTC, and there can never be an extra 21 million point one. No, it is never possible. It's not possible to have 20 points. No, it's almost, and it will always be 21 million BTC in circulation. It can have it more. And in cash, they can actually, if we have $20 trillion in circulation, this person can actually say, oh, okay, I want more $1 million, like that. More money will come in, more money coming to circulation. There is increase in price of goods and services, and that is inflation. So that's one of the major differences between them. And again, one of the major differences between them is that BTC has although not intrinsic value, but can also be stored for long term, unlike cash. You cannot just buy, although in Nigeria, you can actually buy dollar and for long term because of how bad our economy is. But nobody actually buys in America, cannot buy dollar and keep dollar and say to appreciate in value. No, what can actually happen to the currency is like that it depreciates. The longer we stay, like another difference again is the more years we have in cash, the more the value the value. Like dollar continues to devalue the value in days, in years is but in BTC continues to get value the more it stays, right? And that is the intrinsic value that is added to BTC. Now, talking about stocks, before I can compare BTC to stock, I have to explain. I know most of us actually know what stock is. Let me ask them. Please, if you know what stock is, you can just say, I know from the comment section. Yes, or just put yes, you know, I know, just put I know on the comment section, please. Or if it's difficult for you to type, you can just say yes. Just say yes. Just say yes. So if you know what stock is, say yes. Say yes, please. So we can make this class interactive. You know what stock is, say yes, please. Stock. Yes, I mean stock. Stock, not like stock market, like stock market. Yes. Yeah, stock market. I don't mean stock like stockfish. I don't mean stockfish. Yeah, you know what stock is, okay. Trader says he knows what stock is. Asal says she knows what stock is. All right, I think everybody knows what stock is. So I'm going to start with Asal. Asal, I'm going to unmute you now, so you can tell us what stock is. Asal. Asal, I'm going to unmute you, and unmute yourself, and tell us what stock is. Asal, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Asal, can you tell us what stock is then? So you can progress.
Okay, from my own understanding, I understand that stock exchange, understand, like either buying of is it shares, something like that, buying and selling of exchange of some of I don't I don't know how to put it in layman English, but I know how it works.
All right, all right.
Like the
Thank you.
stock markets. Yeah.
All right, thank you for that. That is lovely. All right, we need one more person to tell us what stock is, then we can continue. So who hasn't talked yet? Okay, Talent has not talked. I think Talent said enough. Talent, Manuel, please can you tell us what stock is? Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can hear you.
Okay, to my own understanding, I feel stock is like a store of goods that's ready for sale. Just like anything, a supply of anything ready for use.
Yeah. All right. Would you know what stock market is?
Stock market, in the market way now, it's my definition.
No, I mean, okay, that means when we were talking about stock market, we were talking about companies, like stock market of companies, not
stock markets.
Yeah, okay, when you're talking about stock, you're talking about
okay.
Financial stock market. Yeah, let me use that word. Financial stock market.
Okay. Stock market should like a market for trading of companies' stock, like maybe stock broker, stock exchange, and all that.
Yeah. I think we're on the same page now. Thank you very much. So let me just I'll give you my own understanding. I will explain stock to a certain extent, then we can continue. So thank you very much for those. Thank you, Osas. Thank you, Emmanuel. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. Yes. Martha said something. Sales of security. I think. Yeah. Thank you. That is good. Can't hear you anymore. Okay. CJ, can you hear me now? CJ cannot hear me. CJ, can you hear me now? CJ.
Yeah.
Hear me now. All right. Thank you. Please, if you cannot hear me, just make sure you bring it up on the comment section, then I will attend to you shortly. All right. CJ can hear me. So let's continue. So Now, when you hear stock, most people actually see stock as stockfish. That is the that was supposed to be a joke. If you didn't laugh, then your problem is bigger than my joke. Okay, Collins raised his hand up. You want to say something? Collins raised his hand up. The Collins, who's let's hear you. Collins.
Yes, so I can talk now. More. So companies now they have like shares now. Like so, the thing about stock is that they sell some parts of their company because that's what you just call it, like their shares now. You sell it to the public. So that's just what stock is basically about.
All right. That is wonderful. Thank you very much. That was very simple and precise. Thank you, Collins. Thank you very much for that. All right, let's continue. So as I said, some persons used to see stock as when you hear stock market, maybe the thinking the people used to sell stockfish, right? And I said if you don't laugh to the joke, it means your problem is bigger than my joke. So it's not my fault. I didn't laugh. All right, so let's continue. So stock, as I said, is a place where stock is a marketplace. That is not the place, it's not the place you go to buy stockfish, right? It's a place that the stock market, like market, is a place you buy shares of companies, securities, yes. Mutual bonds on its own, they're all securities, they're all financial instruments, right? So in stocks, companies actually are the people that sell their stocks or their shares. Now, before a company can actually sell the stock, the company has to be public. Now, why does a company have to be public? Why do they have to sell their stock? Now, companies instead of going to borrow money from the banks or from investors, they can actually take their company public, and people get to buy shares. And in buying those shares, they use the money in growing the company. And the more the company grows, the more the money companies grows, the more people, the money they invested, they actually appreciate as the more the company grows. So when you're going to invest in a stock, they're investing in a stock with the people's or the ability or the mindset that the company is a good company, and in nice 5 or 10 years, the company should be big. And when you say a company is big, that means you're saying that the market capitalization of the company should be very big, and the company should be doing well worldwide. For instance, now, Amazon is a public company, just like Tesla, just like Microsoft. Those companies were not initially public companies; they were just normal companies that were not traded. So before you can, and again, something you have to understand: when a company goes public, the company is no longer owned by the CEO. It's no longer owned by Jeff. It is owned by all investors. That's why it's called a public. It's owned by everybody. Just like what you say about blockchain, but it's not included in blockchain anyway. But when a company goes public, it's not longer owned by the CEO. The CEO is just the acting chairman of the company, or the person with the highest share most of the time. Although sometimes they do retire and give room for another person to actually superhead the company. But CEO does not actually mean the person. Once you have gone public, the company is owned by everyone who has a stake in that company. There's some stock or companies that if you should buy their stock, they pay you loyalty every month. Like they pay you other money apart from the money that you take from acquisition of your shares. They also be paid by the month or every week, basically from the money they generate outside, right? So it depends. Now, if you're asking me how does this relate to cryptos, now I told you when I was starting that there's so many innovations are actually taking place in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency as a whole. And some of those changes are what I'm trying to explain now. So since we initially, Satoshi just wanted a money, right? But the money has now gone public. People are now buying it and keeping it for long term, which is like buying share. Like you can buy a particular percentage of BTC. And BTC can be divided into 100 million units. That's what we call SAT. Like when you're trading BTC, you can tell you to buy dot at 4,000 SAT, buy this at 50,000 SAT. It means Satoshi value of that coin, and it can be it's broken down to zeros that is up to 100 million. And so because this unit, we can actually buy BTC in terms of shares. You can buy a share of a BTC, the value a certain quantity of BTC. So you have a legitimacy with stock. Now, apart from that, now before a company can actually go public, there are so many rules and regulations that are actually set in place for a company to go public. And there's also so many amount of money, there's so much amount of money they have to actually pay to actually get your company public. There's some requirements you have to meet, there's amount of money you have to get, there's some things you have to settle, pay up to be able to list the company or make your company public. Now, so most times, most companies don't like going to the pocket of the company to take this money that they will use in listing or in facilitating their ability, their listing or their ability to go public. So most times they go to what we call IPOs. They go to what we call IPO. And IPO means initial public offering, right? Initial public offering is a coin. Sorry, I'm not used to using the word coin. A company wants to actually go public, and they need money a seed money to be able to facilitate this program. So what they do is, instead of taking from their company's pocket, they go through what we call IPO. In IPO, they give their company shares to people at a cheaper price, right? For instance, their plan is to go public, and their coin or their stock will be trading at $0.5 per share. That means you have to buy one share for $0.5. That is the plan they have. That is the listing price, right? Now, for those early investors, those people that are going to buy, they're going to give them, they're going to offer this IPO to, they're going to give their coin or their shares to them like at 0.25. Now, those people get those companies shares at a cheaper rate and give them their money. And they use those money that they get from these investors, early investors, to facilitate their ability to list or go public. I get to my point. So those early investors actually make mad profit from the IPOs, right? Now, they ask me, how does this relate to crypto? I'll explain that in a short while. So when the company finally goes public, those early investors actually make twice of their money, because the listing price is supposed to be 0.5, but they were offered the company share at 0.25. Now you ask me, why is everybody not? That means it's actually good to actually participate in IPOs. Yes, it's true. In what's it called again? Stocks. In stocks is actually very, very good. But in stocks, there is an agency that is in charge, that is actually watching and securing stocks. And that agency is called SEC. SEC is Security and Exchange Commission. Although SEC is already pushing so hard to actually come into crypto, they're already into crypto, and that is why we have centralized exchanges, and we have centralized exchanges. SEC have actually made and put a lot of rules on centralized exchanges. That's why you are doing your KYC, know your customer. You have to do so many rules. It's because of SEC. SEC are trying to intrude into crypto by force, right? Now, the SEC made a rule that before you can actually participate in IPO outside Nigeria, IPOs, we have SEC in Nigeria, but they're not that effective. But in United States, the SEC in United States actually imposed a rule that before you can participate in IPO, you have to have a certain amount of money in your bank account. Now, the reason for this is there was a stock bubble that occurred in 80s or 70s. Now, that stock bubble, a lot of people lost money. It actually made a lot of people broke. That time, stock came out newly, so people investing, and stock crashed more than 170. Some stocks even went to zero market capitalization. And a lot of people had attacks. So many issues occurred in the United States then. So that's why SEC was now brought into play to secure every exchange. That was called Security Exchange Commission, because it's not just stocks. Every security, mutual bond, etc., all of them are under the watchdog of SEC. Now, so in cryptocurrency, we also adopted this as platform. Now, instead of all of cryptocurrency or coins to go IPOs, cryptocurrencies go ICO as initial coin offering, and they also go in IDO, initial DEX offering. You can actually go these two. There's still more though, but this is the major ones I just listed here. And these initial coin offering and initial DEX offering, actually the differences between them is that when a company or a coin goes IDO, their potential place to list is on a decentralized exchange, right? Now, before I continue, let me just give you digress a little and explain something about stocks to you. Now, when you rate, I know most of you have asked yourself, how do we know the richest person in the whole world? Me, when I was actually younger, I thought that the way you get to know the richest person in the whole world is by checking the person's assets, like how many houses does he have, like how many cars does he have, how many lands have he bought, how much does he have in his account, etc. Yes. Talent said you cannot hear me. Okay, Talent, can you hear me now? Talent said you cannot hear me. So let me check on Talent. Talent said you cannot hear me. Okay. You can hear me. It's only Talent that cannot hear me. Talent, check your settings then. I think, okay, let me unmute you so I can know what's going on. Talent. Can you hear me now? Manuel, can you hear me? Manuel, you say something if you can hear me. Unmute yourself and talk, please.
I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Where did you say you stopped hearing me?
You said before I go into, that was the last thing I had before you.
What did I say if I said before I go into?
That was the last thing I can't even remember that line there. You're talking about ID. You're talking about IDO and the other IDO and ICO. The difference.
All right. Let me just go back and explain something. All right. Thank you. Okay. So I was digressing kind of to explain something. So I was saying that most times in this IPO, I was trying to explain something about stocks that most person doesn't actually know. Now, when we are rating the richest people, we don't use assets to actually rate people. And that is why it's very difficult to see Igbo people coming out as the richest person in Africa, richest person. Well, actually, we have money, but we're not actually, the reason I will explain why Igbos don't actually come out like that, and why you hear more of Yorubas, because they are corporate businessmen, unlike Igbos. Igbos are not corporate businessmen, and Hausa people too are not corporate businessmen. I'll explain it to you. Now, the richest people in the world is not judged by the amount of money you have in their account. They're not judged by the assets they acquire. They're not judged by all those things. They're judged by the percentage they own of their company and the capitalization of their stocks. Capitalization is total money that is in circulation in that particular company. For instance, now, the Amazon is worth how many trillion of dollars? Now, if Amazon is worth, let's say, for instance, I'm not exact about the figure, it's worth 10 trillion or 100 trillion, right? And Jeff owns just 1% of Amazon. It means that Jeff Bezos has $1 trillion to himself. I get it. So his own percentage of that company is $1 trillion. And that $1 trillion is what we use to rate him as the richest person or the poorest person, right? The time that we have that, I don't know whether you guys actually got it, is the market capitalization of that particular stock and the percentage that person owns in that stock that we use in judging that person the richest person or the poorest person in the world, right? So, and the reason why you can actually see Dangote in that chain is because in Nigerian stock, and in fact, African stock as a whole, Dangote has his market capitalization is the biggest, and it owns a very high share in Dangote Enterprises as a whole. So, the time that we heard that Jeff Bezos, our nigga, what's his name again? The owner of Tesla, Elon Musk was the richest in the world. it happened because then Tesla stock was flying, like it did more than 300 400% within a week or so. So it was flying, and the stock price was very high. And when the stock price is actually high, it is correlated with market capitalization. The market capitalization was very high, and it owns a very high percentage in Tesla. So when you take the percentage he owns in Tesla, also add the percentage he owns in in SpaceX and also in SunX or something, his third company, and add them together, it was bigger than that of Jeff, and it was also bigger than that of Elon Musk, of Jeff Bezos, and that's why he became the richest person within that period, right? Now, when it was announced that Jeff Bezos is now, Elon Musk was not the richest person in the world, he's actually said that to talk so much as of right now. He actually posted on his Twitter page, how weird. Now, most people don't understand the reason why he placed that word, how weird. Why he used that word, how weird, was because the money is not in his account. The time that the money comes to his account is only when he liquidates his stock, like that percentage he owns. If he sells it off, that is when the money actually moves directly to his account and he becomes the richest person as of that time, right? But if he does that, he doesn't cash his stock, and that will be the end, right? So that is how richest people in the world are rated. So if somebody asks you how did this person comes to play and this that, so this is just an extra bonus or a digression. So let's go back to ICO. So cryptocurrency actually took this part of what's it called again, of stocks, which is IPO, and also brought it into cryptocurrency. So before a coin can actually list, because of like so many charges, so many money that is involved, so many things that have to be done, auditing, have to pay for this platform, to list on this platform, list on this exchange, blah blah blah. There's so many of them. Just like you list in different exchanges and stock. Like the most popular stock is United States stock. You have Canada stock. The Canada stock is actually very cheap to list on. That's when most shitty companies actually list on. So in the same way, in cryptocurrency, you have different exchanges. We also have different exchanges that you can actually and platforms to actually list on. So another platform require money and they require seed capital to actually list on them. The biggest so far, sorry, I have Qatar. The biggest exchange so far is the Binance exchange, and it's called the biggest exchange because it has the highest trading volume in the whole world. Now, listing such exchanges, there's so many criteria and so much amount of money that is actually required of anybody to list on those exchanges. So for a project, which is a coin, to list on those exchanges, you actually need seed capital. You don't need to use their own money to do that, unless they will be, once they use their own money, if a coin use their money in listing that way, they end up using, once they get listed, they can actually sell off their own part of their coin and dump the coin or something. So that's why they go through ICOs to raise money to be able to list on those exchanges, on those platforms they need. So ICOs, that is where it's necessary. And to tell you the honest truth, this ICO, you can actually participate in any company's, any coins ICO, get in ICO time. You are made for life. Like, it's one of the places that when they say crypto money is a ritualism, it's for like crypto ritualism. It is from this ICOs. You can actually do money ritual with crypto ICOs. If you kind of catch an early ICO that is a good project, right? Because the point why ICOs and IPOs are risky is that not all coins or all companies that try to go to ICO or IPO actually end up listing. Some companies will try to go to IPO, take people's money, then don't end up listing. And that way you lose money. That's why SEC is actually out to make sure that doesn't happen. And those people that are going to participate in those ICO can actually bear the loss, right? So in terms of cryptocurrency, once you can actually participate in a coin ICO or IDO, so many platforms actually offer that. There's some companies that actually offer ICOs for free, where there is also some launch pads like Poker Starter, we have BSC Starter, we have so many of them. All those launch pads, although those launch pads will require to hold a certain amount of money of their coin to your wallet if you can actually participate in them. But once you can get into a coin ICO, and the coin is a good one, you are made for life. The particular one I participated on, it was also required us to use $700. $7 is the minimum deposit for the coin, or you can use for it to participate in ICO. And the coin listed on KuCoin. The coin we bought the coin at $0.2, right? And when it listed, it listed in more than 20 something X, like 20 something X, that's like $700 is like $14,000. But before I could actually get to sell, it actually dropped like 10x. So you can imagine $700 down to $7,000. If you check that in naira, you will know how blood money are made, and you actually understand how blood money is made in cryptocurrency. This is one of the places that can actually make mad money. So you have to be very careful not to participate in any shitty coin IDO, because actually there's a particular one apart from that. If I should tell you the happiness, I can tell you my sadness. There's a particular one I participated in. Once that was last year. That where after we participated in the ICO, they gave the date for the listing, and it was around 11 p.m. Nigerian time. I was awake waiting for the coin to be listed. I can sell off immediately, right? So we went to the admin in the Telegram group was not even there. Like we just like only us I was chatting and chatting there. So when the time for listing came, nothing was done yet. So everyone was that worried. Then one of the admins in this was like, oh, the CEO was sleeping. Oh God. Like that's when I knew that this project was actually shitty. And when it was now finally listed, the liquidity this added to this coin was very, very small. So people that it went from like it dumped like hard, fucking hard, like it dumped very well. And we lost money. Like I lost money that day. And it was very painful because I kept when the letter listed was around 1 a.m. and we're still awake waiting for it. When I was trying to sell, I sold and I was crying. So there's always what is it called again? A bad side to every good side. But when you get to a good one, it can cover all your losses are made in other ones, like it's blood money, that side. So let me not waste much time here. I think I've actually put in a lot of time. Let's just continue. If you understand anything about this ICO, you can actually later on. We'll go deep into ICOs subsequently in our previous and other classes. I'll show you platforms that offers ICOs and how to participate in them. All right, so let's progress, right? Let's progress, don't waste time again. So let's look at ways to make money in cryptocurrency. I'll try to rush it because I think we're going to go deep into all these things subsequently in our subsequent classes. So we don't have to waste time on this, please, right? So ways to make money. But before I actually tell us the ways we can make money, I have to remind you this. Never to forget the number one rule in investment. Those people investment in all investment. Number one rule. Number one rule is never invest more money that you can afford to lose. If you can't afford to lose 10,000 naira, don't invest it. If you cannot afford to lose 1 million naira, never invest it into any investment at all, especially crypto. The crypto market is very volatile, and you can actually be happy today and the next minute you are sad. It is that simple. So never invest any money that you cannot afford to lose. Only invest the money that you feel, oh, if I should lose this money, I'm still happy, I'm still good. I will not die, hunger will not kill me. So just make sure. That's why some persons actually told me they wanted to invest money that they borrowed or something like because somebody's money is meant to invest. I would advise you, never try that. That's the last thing you should be able to do on crypto. Be taking somebody's money and putting it on a coin. My brother, you or my sister, you will be heartbroken most of the time. So don't invest more than you can afford to lose. Only invest what you can afford to lose. Although the risk to this place, now if you invest the amount you can actually afford to lose, you can actually leave it for a longer time. For instance, you buy a coin now, you buy BTC at the top now, let's say you bought at 50,000 naira, is it at now, and it dumps to $55,000. Now, normally you'll be panic and sell because you know your money, so you don't have to lose everything. They get maybe to go to 4,000 or something. But once you your money, you have that patience and confidence to actually wait until the money, the Bitcoin comes back to 2,000, passes it, goes 100,000 and in profit, right? But when you use so much money to invest actually in the wrong side and it's not advisable, in fact, don't invest even your own money that you can't afford to lose. Only invest the money you can afford to lose, right? So having said that, I will go because I will continue with the class and I will show you ways at which you can actually make money from crypto. And these are the ways you can actually make money to live your dream life. First of all is trading. Second is hodling. staking, farming, lending, ICO, IDO. I've explained that, and mining. Now, trading. Let's explain them one after the other. Trading. We have trading is like normal trading. We have the buying and selling of goods and services is trading. You go to market, you buy something. You go to market, you sell something. You know this are trading. So trading is just as normal in other places. Like I'm not going to go deep into this. It's a very simple concept you can understand. But in cryptocurrency, we have two major types of trading. We have spot trading and we have futures trading. Now, in spot trading, that is the place that the risk is almost zero. Like what it tests you on is your ability to wait your patience. When in futures, you can lose 100% of your investment in a minute or in a second or in a day. And you can actually double your portfolio in a day or in a minute or in a second, just like that. So there's two types of trading, the spot and the spot and the futures trading. Futures, very risky, highly risky. The reason why it's very risky is because of what the market of the crypto market is very volatile. Now, I have to say something here. The reason why Bitcoin price is going up is because the great reason why people are buying it is not because of the value it has, the intrinsic value it has. No, for instance, now you can buy gold because of intrinsic value. It has intrinsic value, can be used to create a metal, can be used to produce a wristwatch, etc. But Bitcoin cannot be used for those things. So the only reason why people buy Bitcoin is because of speculation. They speculate that in 2 years to come, in a month to come, in 2 weeks to come, the price will increase. So when speculation is in play, the market will always be volatile. Because once anything affects those speculation, maybe a bad news hit, okay, that Biden said that any person in the cash that is using operation on BTC or in cryptocurrency on the blockchain technology will be arrested and detained for 10 years. That type of news can take the price of BTC from $100,000 to $10,000 immediately in seconds, in split seconds, or in split minutes. To tell you, because of that speculation. For instance, gold is not able to move that fast because people, apart from the fact that it is it's traded, it has value. It can also have value outside the trading platform, right? So it might not dump away. You understand my point? So that is the reason. That's why the crypto market is very volatile, and that is why trading sport is very risky. Trading futures is very risky. Most of the time, technicals don't often work on futures. Why? Because you can actually do a very perfect and nice technical. Everything support and resistance set, trend lines, your indicators are showing you the exact way that the coin is going to go. If it's telling you that the coin is going to go down, that it's going to go down, you have finished doing everything. And the next minute you hear that coin you want, let's say you want to actually short THR, next thing you hear that you see who have said that there's going to be a hard fork on the coin, goodness, immediately you're going to see that your resistance line broken ASAP. You're going to break it and you're going to pump as hard as possible. And if you're in the coin, if you're already entered the coin, you're going to lose out completely. So that is the reason why most times technicals don't work. So you have to pay attention. Fundamentals more often controls the crypto market than technicals. All right. So having said that, let's move to hodling. Explain that hodling can also be called investment. Now, hodling came from the word holding, right? It's the spelling error. In the early investors from Bitcoin in 2009, they had a good chat, they were chatting. So let me give you a brief history about the word hodling. So one of the persons there said, I'm going to hold, you have to say hold, but he typed the hold like HODL. I'm going to hold my BTC till 2010 or 2020, something like that. So people laughed at the spelling error. And from that time, we started looking at long-term investment. We started calling long-term investment in BTC hodling, right? So that is the way the word hodling came from. But normally it's supposed to be holding, right? So it actually means long-term investment and long-term period of holding a crypto asset for a long time. Then staking. Staking is like in banks. No, I told you there's so many innovations taking place. Staking, before a coin can actually be staked, it has to have something called POS, not the POS that we know. like we also all hear about. The POS stands for proof of stake, must be built into the ecosystem of the coin for it to be able to be staked, right? So the POS is what, when you stake a coin, you're actually giving it, the proof of stake, you're actually putting it in a vault, locking it up, and you get paid annually or monthly or weekly based on the amount of stake in percentage. It depends on the coin. The percentage you get paid is dependent on the coin and the place you are staking it, right? So if you stake a particular coin in all coins are like stakeable, we always give you wallets that you can actually stake them in, right? So if you stake it in a particular, you'll be earning more. You can actually stake it in other platforms, right? But the profits actually accumulate more when you stake them in the right place, where I say the proof of stake, right? So I'm not going to get deep into this, because we're going to actually look at it more when we're going to look at exchanges and how to stake. So, but staking is a way to earn passive income. You don't do anything. Like for instance, now you bought dots and you want to keep dots for a long term, like you want to keep it for 5 years. Now, instead of you just going to go and keep dots 5 years and it's not earning any money, why not go and stake it? When you stake it for that 5 years, you might end up getting almost 3 times by your coin value when you come back that next 5 years. The money that is added by appreciation will be there, and the number of your coins will also increase because of staking. Because you'll be earning passive income by adding that. What they pay you in is not coin, right? You ask yourself, why does crypto asset actually authorize staking? The reason is because once you stake a particular coin, you are taking it off the circulation for that period of time. That means if you should stake a coin for a 6 months, it means that you're taking off that particular quantity of that coin off circulation for 6 months, meaning that that coin can never be sold. And if the coin cannot be sold, it's never done. So when a lot of people are staking a particular coin, that coin will always appreciate in value because there's no more of that coin in circulation to be sold. And when people are only buying, then the price will always go up. So it's as simple as that. That's why most coins always put proof of stake in their coins. Not all coins actually have a POS. Some coins doesn't have like link. I'm not put POS right then now. So also farming. Farming is also another form of staking, but it's actually added newly into cryptocurrency. Farming is like you stake a particular coin, then you earn another reward in another coin. In Binance, there's another place people actually make a lot of money. Like for instance, I think the last farmed coin in Binance was Beta, and Beta did massively well. How many thousands of percent? Almost 50,000% in a day. And it was given free to stakers of BNB or BUSD. So you can just take your BNB within that period and you'll be earning passive income free. It's a free money. So it's actually very specific and participating in farming. Very nice. Lending. Lending is another means you can actually earn money, and you can only lend in exchanges, centralized exchanges like Binance, KuCoin, and etc. You lend, that means actually you don't want to make use of your money for a long time. You give it to Binance, you lend it to them, then you start paying interest, just like in banks, centralized banks, and etc. Mining. Now, this is the place I'm going to end today. Mining is another, although there's another part again, like buying NFTs. NFTs is the NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Non-fungible tokens are like art and pictures, all right? Art and pictures and art. You can actually buy a percentage or quantities of those coins and appreciate in value as well. That is currently now what's it called again? The NFT market is one of the booming markets currently. Before it was DeFi, we went from DeFi to smart chain, from smart chain now it's on NFT. Another sector that is blowing up now is play to earn. This particular one is where you play a game and you earn a particular token as you're playing the game, right? Play to earn is another part that is actually booming. Another sector of the cryptocurrency that is actually booming. There's so many innovations inside cryptocurrency. There's so many, and every day it's going to expand. That's why I see that the government can never actually win crypto. Because the more you try to actually hold back crypto, the more you actually announce it out and people get to know more about it. For instance, now, China of recent last month banned cryptocurrency. They banned cryptocurrency. But it was, if some of you saw my speech, it was like trying to empty an ocean or trying to use more to clean up an ocean, which is literally impossible because 70% of Bitcoin mining is done in China. Reason being that they produce the machines which are used in mining, and the cost of electricity in China is very, very cheap, because mining is actually very it consumes a lot of electricity, and it requires very sophisticated computers to be able to actually mine and earn from it. Now, that's why, if you remember, the time that Elon Musk was all against BTC was at a certain time, and what the reason was, because he said he's going to stop accepting BTC, was because of the mining was actually very expensive in terms of was consuming a lot of electricity. So he was like, okay, and he's trying to conserve burning of fossils. That is what his company is all about. So he was like kicking against his company by mining BTC. So you have to like go against and stop mining BTC. Then I was now trying to support Doge instead of BTC. Though later on he actually tweeted again and said that he has met with some companies in China which agreed to help him set up a reduced electricity of burning of fossil fuel in mining BTC. And that company was in China. Now, as I said earlier, 70% of the mining pools in the world is in China. So if, like tomorrow now, China all agrees that they're going to stop BTC, that means BTC mining will be reduced by 70%, which is going to be a drastic effect on a cryptocurrency. Now, I'm going to explain this mining briefly, and after this mining, then I think we will close for today, because I feel like if I should continue, I've actually wasted taking much of the time I'm not supposed to. So I need to actually explain this mining, then we'll actually stop there. Now, mining has to do with the blockchain. Now, when you mine BTC, mining does two things, basically. Mining helps in verifying transactions and also in creation of new Bitcoins. I don't know if you guys actually understand. I think I've spoken a lot. Let me, hello, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Actually, I think I've taken so much time. Hello, say something on the comment section if you can actually understand me, because I've said a lot already and I've been rushing. Say something. Okay, you can hear me. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Please, I need to get that. You can hear me, yes? You understand what I'm saying? Do you have any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions so far, please? If you have any question, you can actually say it out so I can continue. So I have to waste much time. Yeah, DeFi is decentralized finance. Is another section of that is where you see YFI, and others. Collins, I hope I answered your question. That is DeFi. Okay, Talent want to say something. All right. Talent, I'm going to unmute you so I can say what you want to say. Talent, you are up.
Yeah, okay. Good evening.
Evening.
Please, this staking, you're saying something about staking.
Yes, yes.
That if you leave it for some years, then you do. I think you see you'll be getting paid or something.
Yes, yes.
What if the coin is devaluing, like the coin is going down? Will you still be gaining profits in your stake?
Yes, the thing is, we have a specified rate. Let's for instance, you stake 1,000 Bitcoin, and they are saying that the percentage you'll be earning per annum is 5%, right? That means every annum you're supposed to be earning 5% of 1,000, right?
Yes.
That should be, you're going to be earning 50 BTC every per annum. So you get my point. Yeah. So every month you'll be earning 50 BTC. Although there is nothing you should understand about staking, as it is compounding. That means if you should earn per annum 50 BTC, the next year is going to be 5% of that 1,050 BTC, like that, compounding. So when the price of the BTC is going down, the quantity does not go down along with it. So I get my point. You get paid in the quantity, not in the current price.
Okay.
You're supposed to be paid 50 BTC, and all the other BTC goes up to 100,000. maybe you started staking when BTC was at 50,000, and BTC goes to 100,000. They will always give you that 50 BTC. They will not reduce the BTC because BTC price has gone up. The same way applies if they're supposed to give you 50 BTC and BTC goes down to $1, they should give that 50 BTC. So you get the point.
Yes.
You get the point. So it doesn't matter the value. What matters is the quantity you're getting.
Yeah. So during the period of your staking, you cannot sell any coin bar.
No, if you want to stake a coin, maybe we specify you that taking a coin for a month. If you should go on stake your coin, the percentage you have earned so far you'll be removed. You'll not earn it.
Okay.
Maybe if that adding value to your coin every day, once you unstake it, if it's supposed to be 1 month and you unstake it before 1 month, the whole accumulated profit you have earned will be taken. It you'll not get it. They will remove it.
Sorry, one last one. Okay, but if you're staking, can you add to your stake?
Yes, you can.
Or you're not okay, you can add. Okay.
Yes, you can add. So any other question, please? So talent, you are done, right?
Yes.
All right. Any other question? If you have a question, you can actually raise up your hand and I can actually unmute so you can ask. Someone should say something, any question, or should continue on mining? All right, let's continue then. So as I was saying, so we're talking about mining. So in mining, I told you I said earlier, mining, we have 2 reasons for mining. In mining, we verify transactions in the blockchain, and we also create new BTC. Now, ask yourself, how is BTC? How does it come into play? How does BTC magically just appear? No, it doesn't necessarily appear. It comes in through mining, and mining through mining. So, although mining is very expensive, to mine is actually very expensive because you need, as I said before, high electricity, and also you need a very strong computer systems because you're solving a lot of mathematical equations, right? I get my point. So mining has 2 purposes: verify Bitcoin transactions and also create new Bitcoins. Now I'm going to explain this better. Now, for instance, when you send a coin from your wallet to, let's say, Talent wants to send a coin from his wallet to Colin's wallet. Who do you think? Do you think it just go automatically? No, it doesn't go automatically. What propels that transaction from that your wallet to another wallet is mining. Is the miners. It's the miners that pick up your transaction and send it to another wallet. So it doesn't magically just move from your wallet to another. There's always something else to propel it, and that thing is gotten through mining. And those people achieve this by verifying blocks, verifying transactions. So once they come to your transaction and they verify it, they pick it up, add it to the block. The next block will now be sent. When the block is verified, added to the blockchain, and your transaction will be verified and to be sent to your wallet. So that is how. And again, to explain this, you guys understand what I'm saying is, so once you are sending something, let's say for instance, you're sending 1,000 BTC to Collins, they will pick up that transaction, and how they get rewarded is in 2 ways. Because you can be mining for free now. You just go and get a big computer, use a large electricity, pay a large electricity bill just for nothing. No, it's not for nothing. You actually get paid and rewarded. They get rewarded. Miners get rewarded. They get rewarded in BTC and they get rewarded in transaction fees. So the transaction fees you pay when you send a coin from one wallet to another is what miners use as reward. Although there's not a bigger reward in the picture. That bigger reward is the BTC that is generated. So upon completion of a block, a single BTC is produced. And we have currently a complete block. Once a complete block is gotten every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes, what happens? New BTCs are produced. Now, that new BTC is currently what is produced every 10 minutes is 12.5 BTC. 12.5. Previously, it was 50, from 50 to 25, from 25 to 12, and 12.5. And the reason is because of what Satoshi added to the programming of this, which is called Bitcoin hyphen. So every 4 years, that is after every 210,000 blocks is completed, the quantity or the supply that is given to miners as reward is reduced by half. So the last hyphen occurred last year, which was May last year. So normally before that time, 25 BTC was given to miners, not just all the miners. So the miner that wins a concept, the context actually wins. That is, Bitcoin is what's it called again? His block is picked up that particular that convince other miners to actually add their transactions to his block, and his block is added to the blockchain. He is the person that wins the concept, the context, right? And the person gets rewarded with 12.5 BTC at that time. Now, the 12.5 BTC only goes to a particular miner, right? Now, the question is, what does other person that didn't get in that context actually get? They get paid by your transaction fees. And that is why if you should go to you want to send money to someone, send BTC to someone, and you go and customize your fee to $0.5 or maybe $1 and send it across with another BTC chain, it will take days, because even me, as if I was the miner, I cannot see $20 fee. Then me, I'll go and pick $1. And I crazy. They will pick the ones with the higher gas fee now because they want profit too. They will pick those ones with higher gas fee. After they finish picking them, they'll verify them. But you that is using low gas fee, they will just leave it there. Every time they will come and pick you, if there's no that block to confirm, they'll be like, okay, so this one is still here. Let us manage and propel this one. They now move and push your. That's why it actually takes days, even possibly weeks, for your transaction to actually get across to you if you use the low gas fee. So the 12.5 BTC is what is being rewarded to a person which win the context. And as I said earlier, one of the reasons why BTC is pumping this year madly, it was expected. Like last year, we expected BTC price to go up as such this high. And the reason is because of this I just told you, Bitcoin hyphen. Now, take for instance, when normally in economics, when supply is cut down by half, demand is still the same. What happens? The price goes up. When demand exceeds supply, the price of any commodity will definitely increase. And every 4 years, after every 210 blocks are completed, Bitcoin will be removed, will be cut down by 2. So next 4 years, that will be next 3 years, we're going to have another Bitcoin asking, and it's going to be reduced from 12.5 to 6.25, and like that, until the whole Bitcoin is mined. So there's going to be a time where all Bitcoin is going to be mined. I hope you're aware. There's not going to be anywhere Bitcoin, all 21 Bitcoin total supply, 1 million within circulation. In that time, I'm telling you that the Bitcoin price will be far above from anybody's reach. To be too expensive for anybody to buy by that time. And that year is going to be 21,440. That is going to be 2,140. How will I put it now? As you're calling 2140, you're calling 2020. In 2140, whole total BTC is mineable to be mined. Like I said, that's what I said now. You can also understand that Bitcoin is produced every 10 minutes. So if you go to CoinMarketCap now and check the total supply of BTC, circulating supply of BTC, check it now and check back in 10 minutes time, it will change. Why? Because another 12.5 has been added. It's going to be added like that every day, every 10 minutes until the total supply of BTC is exhausted. Hope you are getting it clearly. I'm not speaking English. So this is how mining works. So they earn money by verifying your transactions, and also earn money by winning the context, which is solving mathematical equations. They actually don't go and start speaking of this. They have to solve some mathematical equations. And what even makes this more interesting that the mathematical equations are problems that are solving get more ambiguous as Bitcoin and supply gets to the top, and it goes to the maximum. the more difficult mining becomes, and the more you need more computers to actually solve these problems. So this is not the way. So mining is actually another way you can actually earn money. But as I said before, it is very expensive, right? Although because of that, most persons actually join pools to actually mine. There's many pools in existence, so many pools. But even though you join a pool and you start mining with a pool, you need some computers. You can actually mine with your phone, your laptop, but you earn very, very small amount of money. So it's always good to go on it on a bigger scale if you want to actually mine, right? So that is about mining. I just mentioned mining. Extra bonus, we'll talk about that in our subsequent class because actually this class has actually taken too much time. So please, now I'm going to unmute everybody, or if I would like us to take questions now so that we can actually answer questions that we can end for today, and tomorrow we continue to go deeper into how to make money and a lot of other things that we have on our outlines, right? So please, if anybody have a question, please raise up your hand so I can actually mute you or mute you so I can talk. Talent, okay. Talent, raise his hand up again. All right, Talent, you are up.
Sorry, please, this 10.5 you're saying, what is this 10.5 what?
I said 12.5.
12.5 what, sorry.
BTC is produced every 10 minutes.
Okay, but you said if
Yes,
it's 21, okay, you said if it's 21 million, it cannot be increased to more than that 21 million.
Okay,
So definitely this, you say, okay, the total supply.
Yes.
Okay, so this 12 point.
Total supply is not the same thing as circulating supply, right?
Okay, total supply is not okay.
Different from circulating supply. Now, the thing is, Bitcoin circulating supply should be I'm coming. Let me. It should be 18 million or so. It's already in circulation now.
Okay.
Let's check it out so I don't have to. Currently, what is circulating is 18 million. 18.8 million is in circulation, right?
Okay.
And we have 21 million that can actually be in circulation. As I said, I get my point.
Okay. Yes.
So only 12 will be added. 12.5 will be added every 10 minutes.
12.5 what?
BTC will be added every 10 minutes.
Okay.
Circulating supply every 10 minutes.
Okay.
And it's gotten through mining.
Okay.
The reward.
Yeah.
I get any point.
Yes.
Right. So any other question, please? Please ask them, please. Everybody has to ask a question. If you have a question, you can just say something. TJ, your turn. Say something. No, let me start with Tony. Let me take it alphabetically. Tony, right, Tony, say something. If you have a question, you can say general comments on what you have heard so far in the class. Tony, it's your turn. Unmute yourself and say something. Tony, stay here.
I'm here.
You're here, right? Okay. So,
yeah, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any questions, Sha, but I've been jotting down some points though. But I was hoping we could get something we could read through. I don't know how possible that's going to be.
Something you read.
Yes.
All right.
I don't know.
Right?
You said?
You can send me a DM. I will send you something you can read.
Okay. All right.
Right. All right. CJ, Boss TJ. All right, let's hear from you. Boss TJ, let's hear from you. TJ, or TJ.
You can proceed. I don't have a question.
Yeah, I was actually done already. We're done for today. We'll continue again tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll be looking at CoinMarketCap. We're going to look at CoinMarketCap, CoinJK, Chico Coin. We're going to look at how to know a good project. We're going to look at how to know coins that will form. So many other interesting things will be happening tomorrow. So we are almost done for today. So I just wanted to hear general comments or question or anything that you have. If you have nothing, then it's okay. So a Chinedu, let's hear from you. Nedu, please unmute yourself and say something. Nedu, can you hear us? Nedu Daniel. Nedu Daniel, can you say something?
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening, guys.
Good evening. So do you have any questions or any clarification that we need to give us?
No, well, what I wanted to ask is this mining and farming, I think, are they related somehow?
No, farming is actually different. What is a kind of related is teaching and farming. Teaching is when you stake a coin, for instance, you stake BNB, you're supposed to earn BNB as a passive income, right? But when you take BNB against farming on launchpad, you're going to be earning another coin when you're farming. Like for instance, is funny if I was to use an analogy. Like if you plant yam, then you can instead of reaping yam, you might be reaping corn. That is what farming is like. I get the point. Get rewarded another coin. So you still get rewarded if you leave the coin there for a longer time, right? Hey, did you understand?
Yeah, I get.
All right. And I don't have any other questions, right?
No, I don't.
All right. And thank you. Collins, it's up to you. Collins?
Yes, so thank you very much for this class. Honestly, like a lot of things in crypto that I don't even understand before, so, but you've really opened my mind, and I'm sure even the others, you've opened you've opened their minds as well. But I don't know, there's one thing that is still kind of confusing me, Sha. That's like cryptography and blockchain. I don't know. I used to have this confusion between the two. I don't know. Yes, like I just feel like that kind of similar, but I don't know like what differentiates the two of them.
We said that the first thing I said earlier is that cryptography is what encryption is an encryption technique, right? Like it is like, for instance, what analogy can I use? Okay, cryptography is a subset of blockchain. It is an aspect of blockchain that makes cryptocurrency work secured. I get to my point. Collins, can you hear me? Collins, can you get what I'm saying? Hello, Collins.
Yes, I can hear you.
That cryptography is what an encryption technique that is built inside what is like a tool that is in blockchain technology, right? The tool that is built that helps in securing transactions, right? It is where BTC is built into, like, is a subset. Like, okay, blockchain is a part of them, or cryptography is a technique that is used in achieving this in the blockchain.
Okay. I get it now.
Blockchain is that everything that is done on the blockchain is done by coding and programming. Like the other aspect of it that I've not actually dived into is how to create a new token through coding and what's it called again, and programming. Because that's not my aspect. I've not actually put my mind into coding. But whenever I feel like I actually need to produce my own token, I'll employ programmers and coders to actually help me build such. I guess the point. So that is another aspect. All right. So the only person I'm not talking to now is the only lady in the house. So let's hear from her. Osaz, let's hear from you. If you understand everything I said, then I'm happy because I feel you are all right. Osaz, let's hear from you. Unmute yourself, please. Osaz. Hello, Osaz, are you there? Unmute yourself, please. Osaz, still with us. Hello, Osaz, are you still there? Can you see that person hear me? Collins, can you hear me? Collins. Hello, Collins. Collins, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Why can't
yes.
I'm not
I don't
hearing.
know. It seems like this person has left.
Okay, she's not in the class again.
I don't know. But okay, no, she's still there. She's still here.
She's still here now. She's still here. Osas, if you cannot hear me, then you can actually say something on the section on the comment section, please. Osas, or maybe she has slept off. She just thinks she does crash. Thank you, Emmanuel. Honestly, I actually thought I will postpone this class because of this Champions League match. Well, we have to start.
So like me, not even a football fan, so
I wanted to make suggestion in class, but I felt like we are out for a serious matter, so we need to let's actually watch the match. Talent, who is winning, please? I know you actually are following it even though you're in this class. The man you win that match, or they winning that match.
okay now.
Talent, what's happening? What's happening to my match? Talent, say something now. You don't tell us what's happening. No,
I'm not watching it though. I'm at follow this thing back to back, guy.
Okay. All right, let's out of here so that we can actually go back and maybe finish up what I started. I'm just very curious that Martha is no longer responding. Maybe she has slept off as she said. All right. Well, now let's end it here. I thank you very much for actually participating. I'm happy you guys actually got something from this. Tomorrow we have subsequent things. Those ones will be more interesting because I'll be showing you a lot of things, a lot of ways to make money in crypto. Crypto space is actually very, very broad, like very, very broad. And there's a lot of ways. The only thing I should tell you that I want to speak to you go AGA at crypto. The more you are willing to spend money, the more money you're going to make. So if you should spend so much money, if you are ready to spend money, then you're going to make a lot of money. As simple as that. No two ways about it. So thank you guys for coming. You can actually leave the class now. I stop the record and we are good to go. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. I'll see you tomorrow, same time. All right. Thank you and bye for now.